Thank you so much, Alec. No doubt interesting insights there on the developments regarding ABLE, but we turn our attention now to something slightly more exciting. In fact, a lot more exciting, because I'm the envy of several of my colleagues in the newsroom this afternoon, and that's because we're going to unpack the power of being a woman, as it is Women's Month in South Africa. And to do that, we're joined in studio by Nhlanhla Nciza. She's an artist with Mafikizolo and Renuka Methil. She's the editor at Forbes Woman Africa. Thank you so much for joining us today, ladies.
Thank you.
Before we get to you, Nhlanhla, and unpack Mafikizolo and its success, there are a lot of people who are probably watching the show today and are unfamiliar with the name and the group itself. Who is Mafikizolo?
Mafikizolo is an Afro-pop band that started out in 1997. That's when we took out our first album. It's a South African band. We do pop, you know, African pop. We do African dance. We do African house.
Well, yeah. I would know because I'm familiar with that music. I've been dancing to it since I was a little girl. But Renuka, this also brings us to an important element that this group that started so many years ago has managed to grow and flourish. And Nhlanhla's on the cover of the Forbes Woman Africa Woman magazine for this month. What does that symbolize? How did you select her and choose her for the cover?
First of all, there are a lot of people jealous of me right now, but I have to tell you, hats off to you, Nhlanhla, and we were very, very lucky to get her on the cover. I mean, we took a departure from the norm. I mean, we usually have powerful government or business personalities on the cover. This time we thought, let's do a creative issue and let's focus on somebody who has defied all norms, is from the creative industry, is a fashion entrepreneur. So we decided she should be on the cover, and I think she's rocking. People love the cover, and we're very, very happy. We're so lucky to have had you on the cover.
Exactly. Well, she's on the cover, but more importantly, there's an inside story to this that was written by Forbes journalist Tshepo Shabalala, who highlights the brand of Mafikizolo and how it's grown and developed over the last couple of years. How has that changed? Because now you're a name that's known all over the continent, but you had humble beginnings, no doubt.
Yeah. It has been amazing. It was a slow growth, but I think it was good in that sense because we got to learn so much about the music industry in the process. And right now, Mafikizolo is able to do shows all over the continent of Africa. We booked everywhere, you know, and also in terms of collaborations, now that the brand is stronger, the name is known all over the continent, it's quite easy for us to ask for collaborations, and people have come up to us, big artists in the African continent have come up to us and asked us to collaborate with them, which has been very amazing. And even in terms of downloads, people are able to buy our music not only in South Africa but throughout the continent. So it has been really, really amazing.
And maybe let's touch on that, because so often we tend to underestimate the economic contribution that the arts can give to a country's GDP and growth objectives. Is that something that's also changing?
It is changing. It is changing definitely, because we find that you know, corporate is also opening up, because I think in South Africa it took quite a while. I mean, corporate did invest in white musicians, but it's only now starting to believe in the brand power that black musicians have, and you know, they're starting to open doors. We've recently just signed a big deal with MTN South Africa, which
Walk
is
us through that,
amazing.
It's a win or plain project, and you chicken or beef. Everyone's seen that ad.
So yeah. So it's been amazing, and I'm just happy that things are starting to change. And you know, besides that, even I mean, industries like our industry, financial institutions like banks are now approaching us. So
to do what? A bank? Are you going to have a Mafikizolo card?
For endorsements. So yeah, so I think, you know, things are changing slowly, but we're seeing a difference. We're seeing a difference when it comes to corporate believing in the value of artists in South Africa.
Exciting times, no doubt. But Renuka, to come back to you for a moment, this collaboration between corporates as well as artists is something that is picking up all over the continent. And is it a poignant factor when it comes to females on the continent? Because in South Africa, we're celebrating Women's Month. But is it being strongly received on the rest of the continent?
See, as far as the magazine goes, you're talking to the evolutionary female reader. person who's interested in the stock markets, interested in finance, business, but she also has a keen eye on culture, fashion, beauty. So in many ways, she actually typifies the next act of the African woman, the next act of the female evolutionary reader, and the next act for Forbes Woman. So going forward, we're going to be talking about more such entrepreneurs, the creative entrepreneur, as I said. And I think this is the way to go. I mean, why focus on, women are multifaceted, so you need to address all their demands, all their desires, and celebrate that. And
well,
I
you've
think
made
that's
us all eager, so how
Yes.
do I make the cover? And be like,
there is enough opportunity. I mean, I was just telling someone yesterday, the day will come when we will have even a man on the cover. Why not? A man who's emancipated, who understands female empowerment, and who's nice to women. Why not?
Exactly. The power of influence, no doubt.
Yes.
But Nhlanhla, reading through the article earlier on this week, it's interesting that you do have an entrepreneurial spirit, as Renuka has made mention of. You launched in Vintage a few years ago, your clothing line, but were eager and enthusiastic, but unfortunately things didn't work out in your favor entirely.
Yeah. I think when I launched it, the fashion industry was controlled by certain powers, and which made it difficult, you know, for me to actually play in the mainstream. So I had to look at my strengths and try and be creative in order to grow my business. It was just unfortunate that when I launched it, we were about to enter into recession. So that also played a role in the struggle that I faced then. And also when I started out, in terms of getting finance, it was difficult because financial institutions also believe that it's a risky business, so they don't, you know, they don't want to invest in it. So, which made it difficult, and then I had to then finance it myself. You know, everything I had to do from my own pocket, and which was difficult. But you know, over the years, I was able to, you know, grow the company, and I was able to also build a clientele that was not only in South Africa but stretched out, you know, beyond the borders of South Africa. Yeah.
But you ran through some troubles. I want us to highlight that because it's something that we speak to on a day-to-day basis, that there's sluggish economic growth in South Africa. People just don't have money to spend as they used to before. And the support structures that small to medium enterprises need just aren't there because there's too much red tape. Is that something that you also experienced? Or are you finding solutions to break down those barriers?
Most definitely it was difficult. I think for me, because I also I think I rushed into just running the business, and you know, without understanding the fashion business clearly. So I had to go back and try and study the business and see what the business is all about. I think for me that was very important because I you know, I hired a lot of people. I bought, you know, machines and all of that, and I thought I would just get the business going. But I find that I needed to do the research first before I got into the fashion business, and that's what I went back and did. Yeah.
Renuka, I just want to close off with you for a moment. You mentioned that Forbes Woman Africa has far-reaching elements and is allowing this kind of new culture of this new Renaissance woman to take place. Mafikizolo is a global brand, as we know. Are we finding that more of these businesswomen are interchanging ideas and exchanging skills and influencing each other in a positive manner?
Gosh, the dialogue is phenomenal. The conversations are happening. We need to talk to each other. You know, we need to get our voices there. We need to recognize our own power, and that's the only way to go with it. I mean, hers is not just a powerful. She's not just a powerful individual. She has a powerful story as well. That's what struck us about her. I mean, tragedies. So she didn't let her circumstances define who she is.
Exactly.
And that is our Forbes woman.
And
a person who's out there and who knows her power.
Exactly. You know your power, Nhlanhla. How are you looking to maintain this going forward?
I try by all means. First of all, I love my craft, and I respect my craft. I respect the people that support my craft. And I try and be innovative, you know, and I try to reinvent myself all the time, you know, because this is the kind of business that I'm in, music and fashion, and so that is very important. And other than that, I am very much involved in social development programs. I'm involved in giving back to the community, and yeah, and I just try by all means not to be in a comfort zone, you know. I try by all means to push myself and to look for opportunities even outside my industry, and to see how far I can get.
Growth, 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 onwards and upwards. Thank you so much for joining us today, ladies.
Welcome.
But you are a musician, and we can't let you go without singing a chorus or two for us of one of your favorite songs. I can do the backup of Corner, so you can hit the chorus for us before we go to ad break.
Thanda lami lokuphina
Corner,
ngicela ulibuyisele
corner,
lapho lithathe
corner,
ngiyalifuna
corner,
lapho liphuma
corner.
ngiyalifuna
Corner.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Nhlanhla.
Thank you.
Fantastic
Thank you so
meeting you.
much.
Thank you for joining us today. She is on the cover of Forbes Woman Africa for August, which is Women's Month here in South Africa. That's Nhlanhla Nciza of Mafikizolo. You can tell she's a recording artist. And thank you so much to the editor of Forbes Woman Africa, Methil.